Hello, everyone. We are just in the process of testing and making sure that we have a good audio. So we're just going live in LinkedIn and also on our YouTube channel. So I'm just double checking that we are actually live. I hope everybody is doing and having an amazing Thursday morning or evening or afternoon, whatever we're watching. Um, Interesting. I was looking at the stats of our A Doctor's Journey podcast, Navigating Life and Medicine with Coaching and Healthcare Innovation, where I interview healthcare innovators that are shaping our healthcare system. And um, there is an increasing audience in the United States, but also in other countries, including some countries of Latin America and India. I am just checking the quality of the stream. We haven't started live. We haven't gone live in LinkedIn, and I believe it's because of the restrictions they have as far as you only can connect within 10 minutes of the event. So we're just waiting um, on LinkedIn to give us the starting flag, so we know we are live and we can start streaming. Um, or soon. I want to mention that we have a live chat. So if anyone have access to the chat in YouTube, we are already live. So anyone that is live in YouTube and can send a message, we will be streaming into LinkedIn soon. Our goal is to get started a little bit earlier, so I have more time to have this conversation with all of you. And I've been looking forward to do this event for quite a while. I've been reflecting over the past few days, and I hope you will find this valuable. We should be able to go live in LinkedIn soon. And once we are live on both platforms, we're going to get started. Welcome, everyone. I apologize that I'm looking on the side, but I'm just looking at my screen where I can double check and troubleshoot any problem and look at any question or any concerns or any questions that might be in the chat. I know we're already live in YouTube. We're waiting to go live in LinkedIn. Seems that we're already streaming in LinkedIn, so we're gonna get started. I'm just trying to confirm that we're live in LinkedIn. I'm not quite sure that we're actually live in LinkedIn yet. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Uh, Thank you, everybody, for those that are watching, hopefully in our YouTube channel and or uh, hopefully also LinkedIn. Um, and today is a very interesting day where I am here not to kind of give you any lecture or any specific agenda per se, but rather I decided to do these live events where I can share a little bit about my background, my story, and see if you can find it useful for you and your journey. I think that when you are considering going from physician to entrepreneur, when you're trying to build your company, when you're trying to scale your company, if you already have one, there are different lessons that I have learned over the course of my journey and my career. And I'm hoping that some of those lessons might have some use to you. So today is going to be more like me telling you a little bit about in my journey and see if you can find that inspiring. So I'm just trying to check one more time in LinkedIn. Um, it seems that because the stream is locked at 8:30, I believe it's not 10 minutes, but rather uh, within 5 minutes that you can get started the streaming. So that's what I'm trying to confirm because we have some folks that want to join through our LinkedIn channel. It seems that we haven't been able to go live yet. Um, Let me double check on my YouTube channel. So, as I was mentioning, when you go from physician to entrepreneur, this is to me a journey of self discovery. Is a journey about grow. Is a journey about understanding possibilities and really what you can accomplish. And first, I want to set the stage about what sparked the need for a change in my life, in my career. I'm a board certified internal medicine physician. I'm originally from Nicaragua, moved to United States in the late 2000. Uh, be- Became a hospital medicine physician, and from there I decided to kind of pivot and scale eh, the hierarchy of leadership in hospital medicine. I did it for a few years. I really like try to drive a change from within and see if I can cause an impact, which is one of the values at the core of me in my journey. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But in general, the concept here was that I just want to drive a positive change within healthcare. I saw so many inefficiencies, so many situation and opportunities for improvement that led me to entertain a positive change in healthcare. However, at the time, one of the things that I reflect upon now is that I did not spend enough time to kind of understand not only my motivations, but what are the values I have on top of the ones that I was trying to pursue, and also what priorities I have beyond just my medical career and my professional acumen. And that, as you can imagine, led me into a journey of burnout. I burn out in the midst of a fairly rapidly growing career, and that's when I came across coaching. Coaching became for me a good ally that allowed me to explore my mindset, my thinking, um, and eventually have the opportunity to start gaining clarity about my priorities and kind of set goals that were kind of aligned with not only my why, my purpose, but also my values, and more important, the stage of my life and my career. Now, um, one of the first things that I realized for my particular journey was that I needed to take control over my finances. And therefore, I spent a lot of time in the beginning to kind of understand better about finances, investment. And that led me to take full control over all my investment portfolio and start building wealth. Um, Still entertaining and the concept of the power of compounding. But at the same time, as I was building more relationship, I was able to get to the point of finding out other alternative of investment that led me to one of my four pillars that shaped my entrepreneurial journey, and that was real estate. There was the power of depreciation and the power of cash flow were the ones that attracted me the most about real estate at the time, and as I was mostly focusing on stock market and related investment. So that led me to kind of interesting was my first exposure of how to kind of build partnership, how to understand the development of a business process through understanding how um, active versus passive real estate investment works, syndication, private equity, etc. There were an abundance of concepts that I was not aware at the time, and that led me to have a better understanding on what was a something that you can pretty much be able to build with some upfront time, money, and effort, but ultimately with a good um, enhancement of my portfolio. And through that, that allowed me to feel more comfortable when the time came for me to kind of see if coaching or building a coaching business was going to be a reasonable path for me to pursue. So I think that when I came across coaching and I start to understand my mental process and start setting goals and gaining clarity, I feel like going back to my journey about trying to shape the healthcare system to make things better. I came across this idea, this possibility that sparked on my brain at the time, that if I can help other physicians to go through the same transformation that I was having, it can also compound over time and drastically reshape the um, the healthcare system. Because you see, physicians in general, we are feeling constrained about the in this landscape of inefficiencies, ongoing demand, lack of reimbursement, so many problems, so many challenges, and I see those as potential opportunities. And when you understand and flip the script from the negativity to the possibility, to the challenges, from the challenges to the opportunity, you kind of see things in a different way. So my as I was building my real estate portfolio, my investment portfolio, building wealth, I decided to start a doctor's journey, uh, initially focusing on burnout, which I still do, but pivot rapidly into career transition. And that's what's one of the things that fascinate me. How one of the first concept I have with you for any physician on any stage of your entrepreneurial journey, that understanding that you need to remain flexible, you need to remain nimble, and you need to try to understand the market demands on the field that you're trying to explore. And that was very interesting and fascinated as I was growing my coaching portfolio, as I call. I was building clients, I was building content with messages that were inspiring and uplifting to providers, which you can find in A Doctor's Journey, where I have a blog and I have a podcast. So all those were my efforts to, for one end, build brand awareness, but on the other end, also by sharing stories, try to drive a positive change among the growing audience that I was having at the time. So my first pillar in my entrepreneurial journey was, well, the sparking was the burnout while I was in leadership. That led me to get more into controlling my finances. But the first pillar was real estate, right? Because as I said, I was able to understand better how a business works, how, of course, within the constraints of real estate but in general, if you think about when you see yourself as a general partner or a limited partner in a syndication, if this is a passive investment or this is active investment and so on, you are building a small or a larger business that is just meeting the demands for housing. So you can definitely apply and extrapolate those concepts to any other entrepreneurial um, ideas that you might have. Then I was pivoting into the coaching component, where I was able to start building a coaching program, and it was interesting as I was building minimal viable products that was consist on a bundle of coaching calls, a bundle of resources that was sparking change on providers. And I started having good feedback and testimonials, and I really at some point was seeing that I was driving that change, but then something happened, and COVID hit, right, and everything went freeze. There was a lot of uncertainty, and that would lead me to the third pillar of my entrepreneurial journey, and that was that one of the things that I realized, and I know 2025, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, but now everything is in the past. But the reality is that if you reflect upon what happened and what we went through as healthcare providers, specifically in hospital medicine, one of the things that oftentimes we don't discuss was that I came to the realization that there was not guarantees on job security in healthcare, specifically in medicine, and that was something that, if I can tell you, coming from um, a country with so many challenges like Nicaragua, challenges in healthcare, unemployment, uh, low salaries, etc. One of the things that attracts me to American healthcare system, at least as a physician, was that there was some degree of guarantees on my income, some degree of job security, and what something that COVID teach us was there was no such a thing. I found myself when we were having this up and down in hospital medicine census in a moment where uh, we were not even sure the if if we're going to keep the same number of shifts, right? We were talking about cutting shifts, working hours, etc., because at some point we have a slump on our hospital census to a degree that was not sustainable for the managing company that's still paying us by the hour. So that time is when I make start developing the third pillar of my entrepreneurial journey. I start doing independent contractor work as a telemedicine provider. Initially, the most easy way to do it was to pivot from hospital medicine to telehospitalist. And I was able to start providing services to under served areas in rural Texas, in other areas where there was a heavy amount of Hispanic population. So I started feeling that I was helping and changing the healthcare system by improving access of care. So if you see, there is a common theme here between a general understanding of my purpose, of my why, and filter it to my values, and try to build a business and an entrepreneurial journey within the rules, so to speak, or constraints of this ecosystem that I was building. And at that time, I started doing more and more telemedicine. I pivot from inpatient to outpatient, and um, interesting, as I was doing telemedicine, some of my coaching clients were interested in knowing more about telemedicine. So I started making some referral for the companies I was working with. And as I was making those referrals, I started having this idea that what if, as I was growing all this journey, I was learning all these skills, I was getting to this deep understanding about how business work, business out of medicine, like real estate, but also inside of medicine, healthcare. I was learning a lot about my even coaching clients about different positions. I have coached critical care doctors, pediatrician, neonatologists, OBG. So I was learning in the different practice settings, from small practices, larger practices, employee, independent contractor, and locums. So I was seeing all this pattern and learning from them, learning about their challenges. So, and as I was doing telemedicine, which is my third pillar in my entrepreneurial journey, that's when I saw that opportunity to, what if I start advising some of these companies, because I was learning about marketing for my coaching business. I was learning about medicine and health and the business of healthcare through my coaching clients, and through all these companies I was working with. So and I found a raising interest in on getting some of their staff to be coach. I'm a certified life coach and a positive intelligence coach. So I've started developing different frameworks coming from the bundles of minimal viable products that I was developing for a doctor's journey. So that led me to start. I saw myself coaching these some of these digital telemedicine companies that I was working with, and I found myself giving advice. And as I was giving advice, some other companies that I was not working with them in the sense of patient care, they were interested in having a conversation about how I can advise them, and that came to the four pillar of my entrepreneurial journey, and that is the digital health consulting. And the nice about that part was that it's one of those things that it all come to a single place, because at some point I was like sallowing, right? Even though I was adopting some of my business understanding from real estate into my coaching business, it was a completely, of course, different niche, different approach, right? Different challenges, different way to manage things. And from there to telemedicine, of course, completely different ball game, right? Taking care of patient remotely. But when I get to the digital health consulting, it everything kind of came together, right? I saw myself using my knowledge about how the business of real estate work and applying some of those concepts into the business of these companies, right? That they were raising capital, looking for investors, and so on and so forth. And also I was able to use some of my coaching skills by coaching their teams and some of their leaders. And at the same time, again, using all the feedback that I was collecting, I was able to see myself with a skill set, multiple actually, a set of skills that allow me to provide uh, a strategic advice that honestly, if you ask me many years ago, I would say that that was not possible. So the four pillar is the digital health consulting. I'm currently in the process of doing deep research. I'm sharing experience from my journey and some other digital health consultant, and a deep understanding and research on the market of digital health consulting to create a book that is going to have a lot of my resources and experiences and frameworks that any physician can use to allow him to build a successful digital health consulting business. Going back to lessons learned, remember um, the turning point, right? So, one of the things that I want to start asking you to reflect upon is what happens when success no longer feels like fulfillment. And I want you to kind of reflect, because I made myself this question back in 2018, the worst part of my burnout. And because I was feeling like that, I was successful, quote, quote, by all the benchmark that I set at the time. I was leading teams. I was doing a lot of leadership and executive leadership training. I was leading a larger team of providers, and by that standard, I would say that everything was great. But on the flip side, I didn't feel fulfilled, because what I was missing some other aspect of my life. And that's why a doctor's journey will have different resources. And one of the ones that I will suggest to go through it is the physician wheel of life. That tool that we built is based upon the wheel of life, which is a very great coaching tool that we use, but tailor into healthcare provider, physician, entrepreneurs, and alike. And what it does, it will give you a better understanding of what your priorities are and what you weight as most important in your life at a given time of of the phase of the stage of your life. I think that one of the things and one of the message that I want for you today, going back to perspectives, right? Is that if you change your perception, you can change your perspective of the challenges that you're going through. And I will ponder going back to what happened when success no longer feels like fulfillment. And the question will be, what can you do about it? And remember, there's always a choice. We might feel like not, but there's always a choice. And I want these a few minutes that I'm sharing with you part of my journey and the tools and the pillars that I developed, or at least my own entrepreneurial journey, is understanding that there is not a one solution that fits all in entrepreneurship. It's something that needs to be tailor specifically to your particular needs at a given time. And I think that that's something that it's important for anyone entertaining entrepreneurship to understand. uh, Going back to what I would call my entrepreneurial getaways, and I will ask which one I might be yours, right? I talk about real estate, how it gave me financial leverage that allowed me to work less clinical shifts and develop other businesses. I make it initially very active because it require a lot of building partnership, networking, selecting investments, and so on and so forth. But I turning more into an automatic engine where I was reaping the benefits of the cash flow and the depreciation, etc. And that has a good financial impact that give me the leverage to reduce the number of clinical shifts, that give me the time to spend to develop my coaching business as a doctor, as a doctor's journey. I think that a coach could be a great ally in many different ways. Could be somebody that can help you understand your thought processing, how you're spending most of your time, those 60,000 thoughts in average that you have a day that are driving your emotion, your action and results. Building that level of awareness is the door toward meaningful change, and spending enough time to understand your mental process is necessary, no matter what business you want to build, no matter what you want to do with your life. um, I think that I always like this idea that it can help you not improve your mindset, but actually go through definitely a deep mind shift, a true transformation on the way you think, on the way you act, on the way you perceive the reality that surrounds you, and leads you to see more opportunities rather than negativity on challenges. And the best example I can give you was telemedicine. Telemedicine came to me in a time of crisis, in a time of uncertainty, in a time where I felt that I didn't even know if I was gonna stay on that job, and not because I didn't want to stay, but they might not even need me, because at some point, as I said, that we were talking about cutting shifts, cutting staff, and even freezing salaries and things like that. And I know from the perspective of some of my clients, they experienced even cuts on salaries during the pandemic and things like that. Um, but you see, you are able to, with the right mind shift, you are able to transform that into opportunities. And finally, I want to spend some time with the consulting, because I think that consulting is the integration of all your unique skill set. And one of the things that I love when I do coaching, besides mindset, mind shift, perspective, understanding of your thought process, is have a more strategic advice. And one of the tools that I enjoy doing is doing a career inventory, how you can pile out all the acumen. And I'm not talking about titles, I'm not talking about subspecialties only, although of course that matters, but also going more granular, what specific focus you have had through your career, about your maybe research interest, maybe a specific project interest, and so on and so forth. And also, when you match that with what you want to do, you see if there is any gap. Is there any skill that I don't possess, but I need in order to develop this specific business, right? Now, what I like about consulting again is that it's something that you can scale, you can start with baby steps, and you can actually evolve as you grow. Um, And as I said, there is not a solution, that an old solution that for everybody, right? Each of us is different story, different background, different journey. But that's one of the things that I feel that consulting gives a lot of opportunities. So I'm just sharing here how my journey has going through, and how I have seized the opportunity that I have been presented with, and having this idea of being ready, right? Being ready is necessary. So in my mind, as I was learning, educating myself, understanding more about the business aspect of medicine, and understanding the business of other non-healthcare applications like real estate, etc. I always have this idea of trusting my guts, right? There is definitely this brain gut connection, and it's not random. But one of the things that is important is that as you grow, as you learn, as you understand what's going on, you will trust your guts more. Because remember, it needs to be refined with trial and error. It needs to be refined with action, and that requires a little bit of work. But ultimately, once you build all these, it becomes root to your subconscious level, that it can easily help you on your decision making process. And to be honest, right now, if I feel that my guts are telling me that this is not a venture that I want to pursue, I spend at least enough time to challenge that feeling. But ultimately, I give a huge weight on it, because I do believe in the power of your gut as guiding compass to decision making process, understanding again its limitation if you have not trained it properly. I think that again, I need to underscore the need for me has been of doing the hard work of understanding my mental process through mindfulness practices, through journaling, and that this is important, that when you go through the skill inventory, which I ask you to do, you might come across ideas that you might think were not possible before. So I'm going to give you another question. What hidden skills are you underutilizing right now, and how they align with the things that you enjoy the most, or you are most interested in, or you can call the use passionate about. Now, this is my take on entrepreneurship, and your take might be different, and you can tailor this message to your specific needs. To me, you need what I call the entrepreneurial ecosystem, right? The first thing is going to be you need a supporting system, you need cheerleaders. You need people to uplift you when you feel defeated, when you feel you're going through challenges, because change is hard. Building a business is not easy, is very challenging, and you need to understand that, right? So and because you need to see exactly the journey ahead of you and be prepared ahead of time, because your inner critic will become louder, your judge is gonna waking up, and all those sort of things. So having somebody, having a person, family, friends, etc., or a good supportive community that can uplift you when you need it the most is crucial. Is crucial, and has for me has been crucial. My wife has been a source of inspiration, of lifting, and is my best friend and the love of my life. And I can just say that without her, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And I also build good friendship with people that is also on a similar path. Coaches, I think that having this combination of mind shift and strategy, and balance both, and even some level of mentorship, because now as I have go through different paths, building different businesses, I have physicians at different stages of their career, and I can at least share with them, right, some of the lessons that I have learned as I'm doing right now. And it becomes a more deep transformational experience each time when I'm coaching someone. And I think coaching is one of those topics that is very not well recognized yet, or at least not enough in healthcare, particularly among physicians. How can you multiply your time? How can make things easier? That's some of the questions that we rarely ask when you are building a business. And I am one of those that, thankfully, early on, I started pondering these questions, right? Who can help me in my journey? And what type of technology can multiply my time? And I've been implementing artificial intelligence workflows into my ecosystem in my businesses, and has offload a lot of my time in medicine using AI medical scribes and clinical decision support system out of medicine, building AI agent, custom GPTs, and automatic workflow for content creation from bookkeeping, etc. And I think that that's what I love about Mastermind. And we're currently launching a Mastermind PEX. There is some information on my website about it. And I think what I like about Mastermind is that it's kind of the sum of all what I just said, right? They will have community, a supportive system, coaching, and mentorship for a combination of mind shift and strategic advice, and the learning as we learn all together how to implement new technology that can help us in marketing, operations, and so on and so forth. My advice for me, if I get to get started, is number one, understand that your time has value, put a price on it. And if there are tasks that don't match that price, look for somebody else to do it. And protect your time, because you are going to reach a time where you need time for wind down. And this is something I'm very still learning. I confess it's hard. I'm very passionate about on what I do, but sometimes I push myself to wind down. And that's what the good about have safety guardrails that and lampposts, as I call that. The more I know myself, I know when I'm reaching my limits, and understanding what your limits are, physically, mentally, emotionally, your emotional capacity, etc. It's important, and for me, has been very, very valuable to understand that we are all energetic human beings, but your batteries can run out. So see it coming, prepare for it, spend some time for wind down, find your right tribe, the right community, and that has been powerful for me. And each time I coach a new physician and know a new physician, I just get inspired by their stories, and being able to serve them and help them is just that on its own is serve a huge meaningful purpose for my own growth and my own transformation. And that has been interesting. And finally, remember, transformation is not linear. Entrepreneurship is not linear. It's it's full of up and downs, but compounding over time, you're still growing. And I will say it, for me, has been, it's always worth it. So my final invitation is, remember, you're not alone on this journey. Let's connect and explore possibilities at a doctor's journey. This is the QR code for my website. There is a lot of resources, and if anyone will have any a message, if anyone has anything that I can help you with, there are multiple resources. And we have actually a coach that we develop, is a virtual coach. It's called Coach Steel, and it could be a good way to start see in real practice how coaching works. It's an advanced custom GPT that me and my team have developed, and is free to use. And that might be something you might be interested in looking at, and always looking at feedback on their use. But this is free to use, one of our resources, because we always want to serve our team. I'm going to finalize with these 5 questions for you to ponder upon. If we were meeting 3 years from today, what must have happened in your life, personally and professionally, for you to feel truly fulfilled? What would you pursue if you knew you could not fail? What's one belief about your identity as a physician that, if released, could unlock new possibilities in your entrepreneurial journey? What is the one thing you could do today that would have the most impact on your future self? And finally, who is better off because you choose to evolve beyond your traditional role? So it was amazing to be with you today. We're going to be doing periodic events on a regular basis, having this type of conversation, offering resources that I'm hoping some of you might see valuable. And until next time.